Hello everybody! Welcome once again. I'm the Epic Party Guy and this is Dyson Sphere. So, since my last playthrough, since my last stream, they introduced a very interesting thing called the pile sorter that I wanted to play around with. And being a nerd, playing a nerd game, I decided to test just what it would take, what it can do. So what it does is it's basically a Mark IV sorter. So it's got that whole form factor. It moves items from one entity to another. In this case, smelters to a belt. Except it automatically, if there isn't anything to put it on there, it just puts it on there. If there is something to put on there, it will stack it. So you get a much earlier use of stacking, and without needing to deal with stackers, which are honestly a bit clunky. I'm forgetting where I forget which technology it's unlocked by, but anyway. So what I did here is I have 30 smelters going across up here. Don't worry about all those. Just we'll get to those. 30 Mark 1, 30 Tier 1 smelters over here and 30 over here. And this is replicating a full line of single stacked iron ore coming in here and here. And these are set to 30 a second. And I want to see what it would take to get a full stack of a full belt of double stack, so 60 a second, or 3,600 a minute. And that's what these are showing, where these here are consuming all the cargo that comes in and measuring how much it is. And so I set this to one every second. If it is doing 60, should be or more, which it wouldn't be because I only have 60 smelters, whatever. It shows pass, otherwise fail. So up here is the control. No pile sorters at all. And as expected, this is one belt. Now here we're seeing a little more than, like about 1.5, 1 2/3. And oh right, what's the difference between the rows? So the upper row is control. No pile sorters. The bottom one has a single pile sorter in the middle. So that should be doing its best to take what over here will be a full belt and pile it up. And I did not expect this one to work anyway, because over here all of these are regular sorters, and you're gonna get, as you see here, some are multi-stacked from the first half and not stacked at all from the second half. That's what I expected. Here we have another, and in the third one we have a pile sorter in the middle and at the quarter points. So 15 sorters here, 15 sorters here, and then 15 and then 15. See, I also have it for here. And then every 10 smelters, every 5. So here we have it, none, a pile sorter every 30, every 15, every 10, every 5. And then on the last one, we had pile sorters be the output. And that was it. And I thought that was interesting. And the results are these two are showing. The one at the end, which is consuming it, is set to every 1 second. Over here is set to average it over a minute, because this will be what you see on anyway. In the long term, this is just okay. What is the cleaner belt? And with everything being having a pile sorter, is the cleanest belt. As you get, some things are 2s, some are 3, some are 4, some are 1. But they're all like as packed as they can be. Here you see some, you know, some gaps in there, and that's why when it's averaged over only a second, some it'll drop, some it'll jump above, but on the average, it is 2 belts. So, for the purpose of using the least amount of resources, because what does it take? What does it take to make a pile sorter? A regular sorter is just an iron and a green circuit. A pile sorter is all of the other sorters plus supermagnetic coil and a processor, which are already a pains in the ass to make. So you do want to minimize those as, you know, those in the mid to early late game. After that point, it doesn't matter. So yeah. So as it turns out, to get it averaged out to a full 2 belts, you only need a single pile sorter every 10 smelters. Result. So let's scale up. And that would be like, this would be the tier 3 level, you know, because it's using, you know, basic arc smelters, and it's, you know, anyway. But let's scale up. Here we have the tier 2 smelters, the plain smelters, in the same setup, except what's generating it is doing a full, is set at least to a full 120 items a second, and that is a full belt of 4 stacked. And that replicates it coming out of an interstellar station. No, don't pay attention to that setup. Stay with me. Don't get ahead. Anyway. Oops. Oh, that's not fuel. All right. Where are we on fuel? Less. Oh yeah. Okay. That is, so this is replicating just iron constantly coming out of an interstellar logistics station with the full station integrated logistics research. So this is well into white research, so it is very much a tier 4 level. And yeah, I use tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. That's just my nomenclature. There's no one else that uses it, to my understanding. I would be honored if they did, but it's just the nomenclature I came up with. Other people, I'm sure, describe things in terms of tiers, you know, tier 1, tier 2, whatever. But whatever. So, and then again, we have it detecting every every 60 seconds. Is it 7200? I mean, 6 seconds to 60 seconds, 720 to 7200. So this is showing. Okay. And then on the left column, it's so the part that's consuming the cargo is set to every second, and the intermediary here on the left column is to average it over a minute. And interestingly enough, it doesn't work to do it every 10 like it does in the prior tier. Because again, we have control, a pile sort every 30, every 15, every 10, every 5, and then add the outputs. And it doesn't work. It doesn't friggin' work. I mean, the control, this is what we expect. Without any pile sorters, it's only outputting one, one belt's worth. Here we're seeing less than two and a half or so, whatever. Not good. It's only when we have them as the outputs, where they are dropping the ingots on top of whatever piles they can. And actually, it is overstacking here, just barely. Should only be 60, and it is. Okay. Yeah, so once you get to tier 4, once you start using the plain smelters, 60 of these with the pile sorters as the outputs are needed to make a full output of 7,200 a minute. But again, we're kind of, make it more efficient for resource production. How much of it actually needs to be plain sorters. So, these are operating at double speed, 120 a minute. So, tier 1 sorters are insufficient for the output here. Tier 2 will work. So I started with having only the last 5, and then the last 10, 15, 20, and so on, be Mark II sorters, and saw where the breakdown was. And then I kind of zoomed in to where 10, 12, 15, 17, 20, 22. As you can see, up to 15 will still give us the full maximum output. Here we're losing like 3%, 6%, and about 10%. Or more than. Anyway. Yeah, so it's backing up down here, so it's not putting out a full belt of 4 stacks. So up to 15 is the magic number. However, let's play around with this a little more. And that makes sense. And the reason that is kind of the expected result, actually, is because 15 operating at 15 of these plain smelters is a full belt. So that's producing a full flat belt of single stacked output. And then the rest, the remaining 45 plain smelters, just put on top of those. So while things are clearing through, you can see here it's outputting faster than it's making it. So these last ones, the ones at the very end, are draining their stockpiles, their reserves. That's why the 1 second average is now showing 7,200, but the minute is still catching up to it. 1 second. And I'm back. Sorry, household call. Anyway. So yeah, the expected result was that 15 would be just fine, and that's all 15 right there. Any more than that, and you don't have, and you have some backlog, that's the word, in the smelters themselves here. Whereas everything with the pile sorter afterwards can just output onto it, which is what we're seeing here. Okay. And so this one, yeah, so the answer is 15. 15 Mark II sorters will handle this well enough. So, now that we've got the theory behind it, and we've dialed in on the composition needed, how do we apply it? Well, that's over here. So I have two setups, one for iron, one for copper, making use of these, and it's 5 different belts. 5 belts so that it can be just stamped right next to each other, with the gap here in between. All that, and then that, and that. But there's 6 here, not 5. What are you talking about? Well, as you see, I have the middle 2 are actually half belts. 1 to help with the spacing, 2 to make it look nice and pretty, and 3 to give some space available for extra power generation. Because when in doubt, increase power generation. And I also changed things up a little bit in that these are all proliferated as well. So that reduces what's needed from 60 to 48 to a belt, which is what we have here. And in there. And as much as I like knowing that you can dial it in like this, I don't want Mark II sorters to be required. So I just have this using Mark I for the input and pile sorters for the output. Okay. So let's make this official. Like that. Go. Except I actually want that. Why? To show this. There, that's the usual. This will show it's active with the faster smelter. So, what is this? Produces 5 belts of 4 stacked iron, so 20 belts. Now, the interesting part is going to be feeding that. Because if it's producing 36,000 at the proliferation, that means that it needs 28,800 a minute. Which is 16 full belts. Yeah, that math checks. And save. Reset. Oh, I didn't know you could do this. Oh, sweet. Okay. See, I'm normally not making multiple multiple different blueprints that I want to save like it. So, Corper. No. Cropper? No. Copper. There we go. And save. And there it is. And I'll move that to the folder I have for tier 4 stuff later. And actually, I should not have done that because I need to actually finish hooking things up here. And, I still have these traffic monitors in here to show that they are doing a full 7,200 cargoes. Out because they're also what love the sandbox. Actually, I might need to fix, because there might have been a reason I did that. Alright, whatever. Whatever. Alright. Moving on. There we go. Okay. Wunderbar. And that's that. That is, the application that I've come up with of the pile sorters, where you can make 20 output belts of either iron or copper, and you can obviously adapt this to titanium and silicon and steel and stone brick and everything. So thank you everyone for joining. I'm gonna keep that as a clip and head on over to the actual game now. So